Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cutting Through the Noise. I'm here with Kassi today, and we're going to be talking about the Traction Channel existing platforms.
Yeah, Shawn, tell us what that is.
It's when we were talking beforehand, the whole mantra of, if you build it, they will come, doesn't really apply to digital. Just because you are a brand and you build a website doesn't mean that people are going to come to you. So you kind of have to go out to where people are. And, when you think about existing platforms, you're talking about, highly trafficked websites, social media channels, Amazon could be an existing platform, things along those lines where people are already congregating. It can be huge ones, it can be niche, but it's really just about targeting people and their interests based on where they are.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that you're not just going to have a million viewers on your website suddenly, but Facebook or somewhere like that already has that kind of traffic. So finding a way to leverage it.
Yeah, and it's just sort of, going to a place where the people are and then having a strategy once you're there. It's not just popping up and just showing an ad to everybody on Facebook, but it's engaging with people, it's content, it's just taking everything sort of in your arsenal and going to people rather than being passive and expecting them to come to you.
Yeah. Something else I was reading about this topic is that it's not always the big names like you think of. Like I just used the example of Facebook or Amazon, like you said. If you kind of have a niche customer base, then maybe there are niche websites too that are more relevant to you. They might not have millions of viewers, but if a higher percent of those web visitors are likely to actually be interested in your product, then it's valuable.
And sometimes it's easier to stand out when you're at the smaller, sort of just a big fish in a small pond or just a fish in the pond.
Yeah.
We've talked about sort of targeting blogs before, and I think there's some crossover here as well. And, so maybe you're targeting customers or potential customers on 10 smaller blogs that may be more effective than, targeting trying to get 10 people on a huge website.
Right, exactly.
So that's something to think in mind. And also, it may even be not just a new platform, an up-and-coming platform, but using a new tool on an existing platform. So, new targeting ability on Facebook or the ability to advertise to boost somebody else's posts. Staying ahead of the curve on existing platforms is really valuable.
Yeah, they were talking about, it's funny, the example they used, I think, was like browser extensions, which is kind of funny. But the people that took advantage of that at the beginning saw a lot more users because it was in a place where people already were just on their homepage of their of the internet, I guess, and they were able to use those without searching for it.
And you think about just in your day-to-day internet life, I mean, there are the collection of places that you go to every day, and sort of using those existing platforms, knowing that people repeat, and that just, when people are going there for other reasons and then see your messaging, that's a lot more effective and going to happen naturally as opposed to trying to get somebody to come back to your website every day when you just don't have the infrastructure and the ability to, produce enough compelling content.
Yeah, maybe your product isn't an everyday kind of product either.
Right.
So that's something. Do you think that this is a traction channel that everyone should be using?
I think, if you're not using it, most people probably use it and don't even realize
count it as a traction channel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just expecting people to come to your website, then you're probably not going to be able to pay your hosting fees for long. So
right.
I think everybody uses it. They use existing platforms to market. I think it's the strategy piece of it that makes the most sense, and tailoring your messaging and picking the right existing platforms. Going back to we don't necessarily just need to use Facebook when there's 10 other different things. So, setting your expectations and knowing your user is what's going to make you stand out on those existing platforms.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's kind of the first thing a lot of people think of, actually, without even realizing they're really doing marketing, is they get onto Facebook or they get onto a blog and they start telling people about their idea. But yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot if you're reaching the wrong people or you don't have a plan for what you want these people to do. So I guess, is there a certain action that you should be asking people to take when you're on these platforms, or what do you think?
I think it really depends on the platform. I mean, if you're on a social media site, people are on there. They're not, you want to keep them in their environment. So there, it's more about starting a conversation, liking a post, engaging with your page. Yeah. I think in other existing platforms, if it's just a blog, trying to get people to come to your website. So it kind of just depends on the where you are, your brand. But you always have to think about, if you were a user and you were being targeted about something specific, what would you like to do? And how would you like to be kind of messaged? And
put yourself in the shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, do we have any examples of a case study or something that you've had experience doing this, and maybe something successful and something not so successful?
I think about, I brought up Amazon. I think that's an interesting case study in the sense that obviously it's big, but, there's a lot of people there. And, we have a product that we sell is sold on Amazon. It's also sold on a website. It's sold to stores. But when you're thinking about converting somebody digitally with one click, being on Amazon, makes sense. And so running sort of targeted ads right on Amazon, again, that keeps people within the environment, and it's just one less step, is pretty powerful. And because the algorithm's built in, and it's something that really works. So that's kind of an example of going to, it's a very broad customer base, but you're going to where people already are. They're going there on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And
they trust the source.
Right,
like
exactly.
They feel like they've ordered a lot of things from Amazon probably that have actually made it to their doorstep and were decent products.
Right.
Even though that's, not everything that's on Amazon. Chances are they've had good experiences, but maybe from your new little website, they would be a little more nervous or hesitant.
Exactly. And I think, I think going to the ones that just are not successful are just the ones that are way too broad in the sense of, we're just going to try to blanket Facebook.
Right.
If you're not going to be successful if you don't have the strategy. And, we can say that about every traction channel, but I think this is, it's important here because it's very easy to
such a huge audience
and get complacent and just kind of be like, well, I went to this platform and just posted something and then sort of went away. So I think the key is the repetition, getting there, and knowing how to use it.
Are there any tools or anything that you can think of that could help people like create these goals or figure out how they want to approach it?
I don't know. I think it's kind of a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
And like I said, everybody's doing it. You just may not realize it.
Right.
So being cognizant of the places where you're marketing is kind of the first step. It's even like, okay, I'm going to make a list of these are the 6 places that I'm targeting customers at. And is the strategy the same on all 6? Is it different? How kind of a health check on your own sort of marketing activity.
Yeah, I like that. And if you kind of already have that list going, it's important to make sure that you continue to check up on it to see if your outcomes are changing on any of the lists, if some are better than others. Maybe it would do you well to double your time on one of them and get rid of something else, or change them completely as your business grows.
And as those platforms dip and rise in users, drop in users,
demographics change,
go out of business, those sorts of things. I think that's why it's important to kind of be nimble and it not just be a set in stone template.
Yeah, because if you were busy using Facebook for this traction channel 10 years ago, you would have been reaching a very different age group and audience than you are now, if you were still using the same tactic.
And it's just being cognizant of the world around you.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, what you like to see when you're on those platforms too.
Yeah, because when you're showing people something that is not native, that can backfire.
Yeah. Do you think that like organic posting and advertising, they both fall into this traction channel?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, posting on your blog is not using an existing platform because it's your platform, but posting on somebody else's social posting, I think it all is kind of wrapped up in that. Maybe advertising a little less so, but you still are, advertising on something where people congregate. But I would say definitely the social posting.
Yeah.
Just because you are trying to build community and have conversations. I think the advertising piece is just another part of it that can help sort of amplify your efforts.
Yeah.
Sort of on those platforms.
I think so too. There was something else we were talking about before we turned the mics on, and that's just the fact that there are always like new features or even just new existing platforms, which kind of sounds funny if they're an existing platform but they're new. I think that keeping up with those is important. I personally probably use the Marketing Land email and stuff a lot to hear those new tips. What do you think?
Yeah, I use there's this podcast, Cutting Through the Noise. It's really something that I think Marketing Land's great.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes you just have to bounce around and kind of discover stuff organically.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, hey, look, that's a new button there. Let me check out what that is.
And I think there's something to just talking to your current customers as well. Maybe asking them where they're spending their time on the internet, where they're finding your product, where they wish they could find you or your product or service. So just asking people that you already, kind of have hooked on the line to give you ideas on how you can reach the next group of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that this is a traction channel that is used to more to get new customers or to hold on to existing?
I would say new customers. I think once you have existing customers, then they're kind of on your platform. They're kind of in your world.
Yeah.
In the sense of, various touch points, email, being one of them. I think going out and finding new customers is how you need to kind of utilize existing platforms.
Yeah, you're reaching people in kind of an awareness stage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we have a video and a blog post on the same topic, existing platforms. And anything else, Shawn?
Nope. You can find all that on our platform on YouTube. On
our existing platform. Feel free to comment and share your blog if you'd like on our platform. Cool.
Meta.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening to Cutting Through the Noise.